Hello, my name is Sam Fordyce, and today I'll be doing my recap for Leading for Collaboration or Management 2300-1. It was overall an excellent course. I'm going to be going through some of my takeaways as shown on this next slide. I'm going to be talking about the evolution of my team within the course, my own personal leadership experience within the course, the things I learned at KMC and takeaways from that, and overall course takeaways and areas for improvement for myself down the line. First and foremost, this is my team. You can obviously see me down there, but sitting next to me is Ellie, and then there's Fida and Michael. And although we look really comfortable in this photo, when we got together the first time, things were very different. It was extremely awkward. And our team didn't know whether to trust each other or not. And really, we didn't know how to operate as a team, just meeting each other in Daniels, especially given that, prior Daniels groups we've been in haven't been so connected or collaborative as the ones in this class. But we started asking questions. And these questions weren't just work related, they were personal in nature. They were asking about what each person really wanted from this outcome, from this group, and what outcomes members should shoot for, and what communication channels to use when trying to collaborate with others. These questions really were an insightful way to get to know one another, and eventually they led us to real connections. Um, this team is like unlike any other team I've ever experienced in Daniels. Usually you hardly know the other person's name. But in this team, it sure was like a family connection. Everybody got along, everybody was open with communicating. And I think that all of these connections really allowed us to have long-term success because we had the trust and the psychological safety within the group to do what we thought was right. Um, there were many times we were asked to do assignments within the course, and each one of our team members had trust and confidence that the other team members would be able to succeed uh, with what they were doing and through collaboration. And usually in groups, this isn't the experience. When I came into the class, I was a pace setter. Being a Daniel student, I usually pace set to try and just keep myself afloat during projects. But this course uh, taught me that pace setting can make people upset. It was the first time I got that feedback from um, my other team members, and they were very clear that sometimes I do too much work uh, for my own good, and I make other people feel like they aren't valued within the group or that they aren't contributing enough. Which is definitely something I took away. And going forward, I've learned to sit down. That's why there's a chair and communicate with others. Throughout this course, I've changed my leadership style so much. Usually, I'm just a pace setter, and I think this has taught me to sit back and take more of a servant leadership role within my team and communicate with others. And through this, I found a lot of success. Our team was the one that won literally every single challenge at KMC weekend. And I think a lot of that had to do with me sitting back and letting my group, truly collaborate and learning how to value input from others that's different from your own, or a different course of action than your own, which again led us to this great success as we have this man climbing the hill. And then now to talk about my learnings from the KMC weekend. Well, first, I really learned how to trust others in real time with the orienteering challenge. Um, in prior situations, I hadn't had a lot of trust in other group members, as I said previously, but this experience taught me that I sometimes just have to rely on others and put my trust in them to get that success. I also learned a lot about conflict resolution in high stress scenarios. Uh, I, in one challenge, we were asked to hold a water bottle with just strings with all of our team. That's why I have this picture here. And in this scenario, I learned a lot about how to hear both sides of a problem and try to do my best to resolve any underlying conflict that the group had to try and make a decision. I wouldn't have had that experience outside of KMC. I also learned that communication is crucial in high stress environments. Usually I tend to shut down, but KMC weekend really pushed me to communicate with my group and tell them what I needed, what we needed to do to succeed. And in prior groups, I hadn't done that. And I think KMC really pushed me to understand that about myself and understand about that about teams in general. Now to talk about some of my overall course takeaways. Well, I learned that collaboration is not competition. As you see here, they're running a race, and that's exactly what collaboration isn't. In my time working in Daniels, I've tried to collaborate by assigning tasks to other people and just praying that they do it. But in this course, I've learned to kind of settle down, really listen and communicate with others to try and get the best output I can in whatever project that is. And that collaboration usually has better results than individualized kind of participation. I also learned that trust is key. In other groups, I haven't really trusted group members, and I think my groups have been hindered because of that. This experience showed me that trust is necessary for true collaboration and good work outcomes. I also learned that personal relationships are extremely important when trying to collaborate because if you don't have that trust, like I said, it's impossible to do anything. Knowing each other and knowing the motivations of each other was extremely important in the process and allowed us to thrive in everything we did. Lastly, I learned the importance of feedback and how to give it thoughtfully and constantly, really. We were constantly pushing each other to do our best, and that's something I really appreciate from this course, and I'll try to work on in the future, in future teams and my organizations that I run and the companies I work for. Thank you.